Look at a $20 bill. It's just a piece of cotton and linen paper with some green ink. It has no intrinsic value, you can't eat it, you can't build a house with it, and it won't keep you warm. Yet you can trade it for a meal, a shirt, or a tank of gas. Why? Because of a collective hallucination we call the economy. Money is the most successful story ever told. It is a system of trust that allows total strangers to cooperate across oceans and time zones. But that story is currently undergoing its most radical rewrite in 5,000 years. We are moving from a world of physical cash to a world of programmable money. Today we are tracing that evolution through 7 levels. We'll start with the literal swap of a cow for grain and end with a digital currency controlled by central banks that could change the very definition of freedom. This is the evolution of value. This is the explained learner. Level 1. The barter system. The double coincidence. Bartering was the foundation of human survival, but it was incredibly inefficient. It didn't scale. How do you pay a doctor for a surgery using chickens? How do you save for retirement when your wealth is stored in fruit that rots in a week? Level 1 taught us that for an economy to grow, we needed a unit of account, something that everyone agreed had value, was easy to carry, and didn't die or spoil. This led to the use of commodity money, like salt, silk, or even seashells, but shells can be found on any beach. To reach the next level, we needed something rare. We needed the Earth's most precious metals. Level 2, the metal standard, intrinsic scarcity. Level 2 is commodity money, specifically gold and silver. For thousands of years, these metals were the global language of value. Why gold? Because it doesn't rust, it's hard to find, and it's easy to melt down into standardized coins. When a Roman soldier was paid in gold denarii, he knew that the value was inside the coin itself. If the Roman Empire collapsed tomorrow, the gold would still be gold. This era introduced the concept of minting. Governments began stamping their faces on coins to guarantee their weight and purity. This created a massive leap in trade efficiency, but it had a physical limit. Gold is heavy. Carrying a chest of gold across a bandit-filled forest was a death wish. As trade expanded globally, we needed a way to move value without actually moving the metal. This birthed the banknote, a piece of paper that represented a specific amount of gold sitting in a vault. Level 2 was the era of sound money, where every dollar was backed by something you could touch. Level 3, the fiat leap, the era of trust. Level 3 is the most controversial shift in economic history: fiat money. In 1971, the United States officially ended the gold standard. From that moment on, the US dollar, and eventually almost every currency in the world, was no longer backed by gold. It was backed by faith and credit. Fiat is Latin for "let it be done." The value of your money now comes from a government decree. This allowed central banks to print money to manage economic crises, stimulate growth, or fund wars. It made the economy flexible, but it also introduced inflation. If a government prints too much money, the value of every dollar you own shrinks. At level 3, money became an idea. It became a social contract between a citizen and their government. As long as everyone believed the government was stable, the money worked. But as the world moved into the 1990s, the idea of money was about to move from paper to the screen. Level 4, digital banking, the ledger era. Level 4 is fractional reserve banking and digital ledgers. This is the world most of us live in today. When you look at your bank account on your phone and see $1,000, there isn't actually a little box with $100 bills waiting for you in a vault. In reality, physical cash makes up less than 10% of the world's money supply. The rest is just data. Money at level 4 is a series of entries in a centralized database owned by a bank. When you swipe your debit card, the bank simply subtracts a number from your column and adds it to the store's column. This era allowed for the credit economy. Banks can lend out more money than they actually have on deposit, creating new money out of thin air through debt. This fueled the massive technological and industrial explosion of the late 20th century. But it also created centralized fragility. If the bank's database goes down or if the bank goes bankrupt, your money disappears. To solve the problem of centralization, a mysterious figure in 2009 released a white paper that changed everything. Level 5, Decentralization, the Crypto Wave. Level 5 is cryptocurrency. Led by Bitcoin, this level introduced the distributed ledger. Instead of one bank owning the database, thousands of computers around the world own a copy of it simultaneously. This is the blockchain. For the first time in history, we created digital scarcity. You cannot print more Bitcoin. There will only ever be 21 million. This was a direct challenge to Level 3 fiat money. Level 5 promised a world where you didn't need a bank to send money across borders. It promised permissionless finance. However, Level 5 also brought extreme volatility and a wild west of scams and technical complexity. While the world watched Bitcoin prices swing wildly, governments were watching something else, the underlying technology. They realized that the blockchain was too powerful to leave in the hands of the public. They decided to build their own. Level 6, Stablecoins and Private Rails. Level 6 is the bridge we are crossing right now, stablecoins. These are digital assets like USDT or USDC that are pegged one-to-one with the US dollar. They combine the speed of Level 5 crypto with the stability of Level 3 fiat. This era is defined by private companies like Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal integrating blockchain technology into their existing systems. It's about programmable payments. Imagine a contract that automatically pays a freelancer the moment they upload a file without needing a human to click send. Level 6 is making the global economy always on. Markets no longer close at 5 p.m. on a Friday. Value is moving 24/7 across borders at the speed of light. But Level 6 is still private. The final level is where the government takes back total control. Level 7, CBDCs, Programmable Reality. We have reached Level 7, Central Bank Digital Currencies, CBDCs. As of 2026, over 100 countries are in the advanced stages of launching a CBDC. This is not Bitcoin and it is not a bank account. A CBDC is a direct digital claim on the central bank. At Level 7, money becomes programmable. Because the government controls the ledger directly, they could theoretically put an expiration date on your stimulus check to force you to spend it and jumpstart the economy. They could earmark your money so it can only be spent on groceries and not on alcohol. They could implement instant taxation or even social credit integration. Level 7 is the ultimate efficiency. No more slow wire transfers, no more tax fraud, no more physical cash to lose. But it is also the ultimate surveillance. Every single transaction you make is visible to the state in real time. We started at Level 1, swapping cows for grain for the sake of survival. We are ending at Level 7, where every exchange is a data point in a global machine. The story of money isn't over. It's just getting started. Which level do you want to live in? Let me know in the comments. This is the Explained Learner, and I'll see you at the next level.